Okay, not sure how well you're going to be able to hear it, but as I take off you can hear the rattling. Okay, so not sure if you can really hear it. You hear it more when you're taking off, but you can definitely see the pulley flopping around right there. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and start removing it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to start with is taking off the belt. So I got a 14mm on the tensioner pulley bolt, and I'm going to just double up the wrenches like this. You're going to go from towards the front of the car to loosen the belt. So right there, I'm going to go like this, and there, we got the belt off. And so now we're just kind of going to look at what else is in the way. So looking at it, the next thing is going to be this idler pulley bracket. So I'm going to go ahead and start taking that off. Let me get the bolts for that. I think we're going to need a 10 and a 12mm. So we're looking at a 10mm here, 10mm on the back here holding this AC line on, and then a couple of 12s, and this thing comes right off. So I'm going to put the bolts back where they were, just so easier to keep track of them. Then the one on the back, you can't really see it, but it's a long bolt here holding this AC line on. So I'm going to pop that off. Alright, so I got that one off, kind of setting it up there since you can't really mistake it with another one. And then 12mm right there and right there. I'm starting with the lower one, which I should probably use the right socket. Bracket is off. Just setting it up here for right now. So here's a little better shot of what we got going on here. You see the belt still off to the side. You can see the tensioner assembly there a lot easier. One thing we can see, this bracket's going to be in our way. So we're going to go ahead and remove that, but that's the engine mount bracket, so you don't want to just unbolt it and have the engine go straight down. We're going to actually go ahead and support the engine from underneath before we go ahead and do that. And there's also a ground right here we're going to take off, so we'll go ahead and get started here with that. And looking at the new one here, this is like a OEM replacement. It's not a factory part, it's like some kind of third-party part, so aftermarket part, but basically the same style. So we got one bolt up here, one down there, or yeah, one down here, and then one over on the side. That's the one that's covered up by the mount. So hopefully all we gotta do is take off that top part, not actually unbolt the mount from the engine, because there's that part that goes to the chassis from the mount, and then there's the mount also goes to the engine. So we'll see. I haven't actually done this job before, so we'll figure this out together. And here's a quick shot of what I've got going on underneath. I just basically put a piece of wood on top of a jack and then jacked it up very slightly, just enough to put a little bit of pressure onto it. Not much at all. You're not lifting or anything like that with it. So you're just going to do that. That's going to hold the engine in place while you unbolt that bracket up top. It looks like I might actually have to unbolt from the car as well, but I'm going to see if maybe I can try and sneak it out without doing that. If I got to take apart less stuff, that's usually preferred. Alright, so right now I'm just going to take off this 10mm right here, just a little ground. And then I'll unbolt the bracket. And these are three 18mm on the bracket, the big ones. I'm going to use an impact for it, you don't have to. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and undo. Okay, so I was wrong. It's actually, these two back ones are 18s. The first one right here is 17. And with this one, since it's so deep, I can't do it with the impact because while it's on there, it bottoms out and it doesn't actually get onto it. So what I did right now is I got the long impact socket on there. I got the ratchet where I can put it in like maybe half the way in to the socket. And I'm just gonna So right now, we're having a little bit of difficulty right here getting this off, probably because of how it shifted. So I'm going to spray a little bit of penetrating oil in there to get it. So I'm not sure how well you can see what kind of room I'm working with here, but it's not much. And the third bolt is like right over here in this corner. So looks like I have to take the pulley off, which isn't a big deal. I already loosened it on accident earlier. So I'm going to go ahead and take the pulley off first and then go from there. Okay, so this is very hard to see, but I'm starting with the harder bolt down here on the bottom. It looks like I won't have to take off this bracket, assuming this slides out sideways, which from looking at the back of this other one, it should be fine. So I'm going to go ahead and loosen this guy up. And then I'm using a deep socket. Alright, so I got it back on there. It's really hard to show. I can't even see it. You have to actually do it by feel. But the 12mm looks like it's working fine. The deep one. Alright, so I got that one out. That's what it looks like. And it looks like it's actually just one more from that I can tell. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that off. It's just the one right down here. Alright, I'm just going to compare the bolts. They're the same length. I'll put them back where they each were, but they're the same length either way. Alright, and then the last bolt I got to take off is the one right there in the middle. So I'll go ahead and do that. Same 12mm. Now this one's longer than the other two, obviously. So now it looks like... Alright, and I quickly snuck the other one in here. I'll probably have to take the pulley off to tighten this other one back here. I'm going to try not to, though, and see if that works. I'm guessing it won't work, but we'll see. So I'm going to just start putting the bolts in. Not a whole lot to see, but it's getting there. There we go, we got it in there. So now I'm just going to go ahead and put the brackets and whatnot back on, and then we should be good. I'm going to give these all a quick double check again with the tightness, but should be pretty good. Alright, she's tight there, so I'm going to go ahead and get this old bracket back on. Alright, so now the new bolt is a 15, so I got a 15 wrench on there. There we go. Alright, so I would say it's much quieter. Sounds good, so I'm going to take it for a drive and see if that rattling is gone. Alright, so there we go. That was it. It's not a whole lot to it. A couple of different steps, really tight to work on just because of the nature of front wheel drive, but overall it took me maybe 25 minutes or so. If first time, if you've ever not taken the stuff apart, it'll be a little longer to take you, but overall it's not that difficult of a job. It's really pretty simple. It looks intimidating just because of all the crap that's stuffed into one little location, but overall not bad. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns, just leave them down in the comments. I'll usually answer them if I can. So there you go.